Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome to ShortSalePowerHour.com. My name's Fred Weaver. My partner Kevin Kauffman is gracefully entering the picture right now.
It's so nice and Capri today.
We're with Group 4610.
Holy wow, this place is nicer than I even imagined.
Arizona's premier short sale team, and you're watching ShortSalePowerHour.com. So yes, you're watching these videos pre-recorded, of course, and we actually are in the beautiful city of Capri, Italy, tiny little island off the coast of Sorrento.
I'm gonna have spaghetti and meatballs
in the southwestern part of Italy. Are you spaghetti and meatballs?
They really have that in Italy. I don't know. Maybe that's just something all my Italian family members
I don't know either, but some of you will get to see some live episodes from Capri or other areas of Italy. So
we've had garlic bread there.
Hey, the last couple of weeks we've been, actually the last couple of days, excuse me, we've been talking around bank counteroffers. And to give you a quick summary, we've been talking around how there are two kinds of counteroffers out there in the short sale world.
One that's
There's
good,
the
one that's bad.
mitigation counteroffer and the collections counteroffer. So mitigation counteroffer, well, let me talk about the collection one first. A collection counteroffer would be where a bank employee counteroffers you to 175 when their BPO is 165 because they just want to get as much money as possible out of you. Or when a negotiator or supervisor or manager or whatever absolutely wants to cut your commissions from 6% to 5% just because they want more money, Navy Federal Credit Union. Or when they don't want to pay for 3% closing costs for the buyer because they don't think that's standard.
Or they don't think it's necessary.
Or necessary.
They've now determined what
even though they're saving money over foreclosure on their analysis, they just don't want to do it or they'll foreclose.
Yes.
So those are collection counteroffers. Now, a mitigation counteroffer is where realistically you've got a person inside the bank counter-offering you, asking you to raise the price usually or cut your fees and stuff because the analysis they're running says we would actually make more money if we took it to foreclosure than we would short sale. Now, the only way to know the difference between a mitigation counteroffer and a collection one is to know the BPO value, and we've been sharing that with you guys. And so you've got to do your detective work to find out what the BPO value is. And when you're working with a, let's call it more of a mitigation counteroffer, the thing that I want to encourage you guys to do out there is don't have a conversation around purchase price with your negotiators and bank employees.
Never.
Have a conversation around net proceeds, okay? So if you took out a HUD, a pre-audit and estimated net sheet, and you looked at it, and actually next week we're going to talk a little bit around HUDs, and I'll tie this all back in for you. But if you took out a HUD and you said, well, you know what, my taxes are padded here through the end of August, but we realistically could close in the middle of June if I got the approval, so I could reduce those down. You know what, I might even take 5% commissions on this one. I'm not suggesting you have to do that. I'm just saying you have that opportunity. Or, you know what, my HOA fees are estimated because I haven't ordered an HOA payoff, so I can reduce that. And we'll talk more about all that. But a mitigation situation is where you're going to want to look at your HUD and say, hey, which of these fees can I cut to increase the lender's net? Perhaps you don't need to bring the offer price up because it's not about the offer price.
No,
it's about how much money the bank's going to receive on the final HUD, how much their check is going to be when the deal's all closed.
That's the key thing, because the reason why the offer price doesn't matter is because that's not what the bank gets. The bank doesn't get the offer price. Now, obviously, the amount of money that they do receive is derived from the offer price. Yeah. That's where it starts at, but that's not what determines ultimately how much money they get. What determines it is the closing costs, the taxes, the HOAs, the commissions, the title and escrow fee, things like that, any other fees that might be paid, buyer closing costs. So when you can have a conversation around those individual fees and rather than an overall price, and really what you want to do is talk about net proceeds, again, not the purchase price. When you can bring your conversation down to that level, it's a lot easier to get these things approved and taken care of.
Yep. So what we're going to do is tomorrow we're going to put ourselves on the spot because I actually don't know what story we're going to tell you. But tomorrow we're going to come up with a story or two where we've been dealing with the negotiators that have asked us to raise the purchase price, and we've cut fees, and they've continued to say, no, you're not offering enough. And we're going to actually talk around some situations where we've had to escalate, okay? Now, last week we talked about what escalation was, so if you didn't watch those episodes,
you're going to want to watch
you need to go watch them. So tomorrow for Forgettable or Unforgettable Friday, we'll actually specifically talk around a few situations we've had where this conversation of net proceeds comes into play. Because it's important to know, guys, when you're getting these counter offers that you don't just want to get sucked right into what the bank's doing. And I'll even share, I know a story I'm going to share with you tomorrow. I'm going to share a story with Aurora that I've been dealing with for the past week or so, where they've actually been very real with me around what they wanted to net, and they didn't care what the numbers looked like. So I'll share that with you.
Well, it's because they're easier to work with.
Absolutely. We love you, Aurora. So come on back tomorrow for some more great stories and more conversation around counter offers and how we deal with this, and get a few examples so you can actually relate it to your business. And again, guys, we're not saying buck the system. We're not saying buck everything the bank's telling you. We're just saying that you've got to trust them with literally like a grain of salt. Now, I wish it didn't have to be that way, but that's the amount of trust they give back to us, and they're not interested in trusting us based on the conversations I've had. So you're going to have to do good detective work to figure out, is this a collection counteroffer or is this a mitigation counteroffer? And tomorrow we're going to talk around some real situations where counteroffers have come to us, and we've absolutely brought it to a place where we could talk around mitigation to make a deal work. So come on back tomorrow. We'll see you soon. On 3. 1, 2, 2.5, 3. Short sale power hour. Short sale power hour. I just wanted to throw Kevin off. That clapping was horrible. Crush it.